and we're going to probably have a lot more people attending because we're here real close to the midterms. Well, with that, let's start off with the pledge of prayer. Everybody please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, invocation, prayer. Mike, you want to do the prayer tonight? Sure.
A prayer could go out to service members who are fighting for our country, people actually who were affected by the recent storms. You look around and you feel how fortunate you are when you have things going well, but when you're out of power, out of food, and you really have nowhere to turn. It makes life a lot more difficult. So prayers for those people to remain strong. We're in a strong country. And I think everyone in this room should feel blessed having a good life. And let's pray for a great meeting and let's move forward.
Amen. 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 Okay, Mark Allen, your secretary, could you please take roll call?
All right. This fast. Okay, Mike Bonomo.
Here, present.
All right. Carmen. Absent. Samuel. Samuel Klein. Absent. John Boris. I don't see John. Nicole La. I don't see Nicole. Steve Baelish. I see.
I'm here.
Ethan Fialco is here.
Very.
And food poisoning. Tony DeMasso. No. Absent. Stevens Contact.
Here.
All right. Here. Mark Allen. I'm here. Brody here. Lucas. Absent. Tiffany's here. Brad. Prater. Absent. Russ Barnett.
No.
Nope.
No, that's not it.
Just walking around now.
Who is?
Dennis Ivanich.
You got someone walking around right now.
It's not DC.
Oh,
Andrews here.
Hi.
Brent. Baelish is.
Proxy.
Yep, he's the proxy. He's here. Christine Foster. Absent. Okay. You got it, sir.
Okay. Everyone should accept the agenda. There's copies of the agenda on there. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda the way it is for tonight's meeting?
Motion valid.
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay. Treasurer's report, we do not have one. Carmen Morella is stuck at the airport in Florida. They've got storms out there, I guess, so he hasn't even gotten his plane. He was supposed to be home this morning. So
Right, on the list.
what?
Right,
He can't be here, so there is no treasurer's report. So we're going to go right into the secretary's report with Mark Allen.
All right, very quick. A little marketing for our email address. So anyone, any PC, anyone actually can email this address. Andy and I are monitoring it. So I was going to talk about the website. You're going to do that, right? And I'll just say, I know it's on the agenda, Jay, later, but I'll talk about voter information, voter data. I actually did it this morning in time for the meeting. It took me about 5 minutes. The navigation on the Will County site's a little clunky, but you can get through it, and it's pretty easy. You submit. I got an email right away. I got a call like 2 hours later. They actually want your credit card because they're going to charge you $2 for the data. $5 if you selected getting a memory stick, which you're going to have to go pick up at Will County. So I chose email. I got charged $2. I got it. 1,050 rows spreadsheet. So 1,050 registered voters in my precinct. A lot of great data. I haven't had a chance to really chew into it, but this is going to be the core, right, Jay, of everything that each PC can do to get the vote out. So I think with that, I'm done.
Okay.
Thanks, Jay.
All right.
Will that be updated before the election, or is that kind of...
So the voter data, You know what, okay, I'll go right into my secretary's report, voter data. I mean, my chairman's report, I'm going to voter data. The voter data should be as current as the last election. Okay? It usually goes back about 10 years. And you'll be able to see all the registered voters in your precinct with that. I did put out a detailed instruction sheet. You guys had it emailed to you probably right before our very first meeting. Plus I have copies, and there's a couple of copies of instruction up there. As far as talking about how we're going to use the data, or the best way for you to use the data, we'll be doing that during an upcoming, probably an executive session with just the PCs. Right now, I just want to be sure that you guys are learning how to get to the data. Now, there's a lot of different facets out there for receiving voter data. We also have the chair of Will County here. She may even talk about that as well. I served as a vice chair before, and they have different mechanisms as well. But when you are a precinct committeeman, this is basic introduction to get the voter data for your precinct, to see who the registered voters are. And again, we are Republican precinct committeemen, but when you get that voter data, you can get every voter in your precinct. And remember, and this is old hat for a lot of people, there is no such thing technically as a registered Republican or a registered Democrat. When you vote in a primary election and you walk into a polling place for a primary, they ask you, Republican ballot, they go, Mr. Spontac, Republican ballot or a Democrat ballot? If you were to say Republican ballot, that information is kept, and it's kept at the county clerk's office. So when Tiffany, let's say she wanted to get precinct 9, which is your precinct, or she wanted to search out precinct 9, what she would see, and she would look under Steve Spontac, she would see 10 years of voter history, and the only thing that she can tell which way you swing when you vote is the ballot you requested on the primary election. Steve, guess what, Tiffany? Steve, for 10 years, they've been pulling Republican primary ballots. We consider that a hard Republican, okay? Hey, guess what? Steve's a precinct committeeman, but man, for some reason, he was a Biden guy because he's been pulling Democrat ballots. Something doesn't jive up here. What I'm saying is you have that information, and that's really how a precinct committeeman can tell what door, what house they may want to knock out, what house they may want to send a mailer to, and you go by that primary information. Now, all the other elections are in there, but you're consolidating your generals. It's one ballot, and you're choosing Libertarian, Republican, Democrat. Nobody knows how you actually vote. So the barometer is the primary ballot of a voter.
I was actually more like when people move away and they update.
They do update them. Annette Parker's been very good.
They update the rolls, but they won't update your spreadsheet.
The spreadsheet, the voter rolls will be updated.
But your spreadsheet that they email you won't.
Right. So what will happen is if somebody new occupies that address and they're a registered voter, that previous person is gone.
Okay.
So if you were to move, and let's say Mike Bonomo bought your house, Mike Bonomo votes in this coming election, that address, I see Mike's voter record for one election.
Okay.
The previous owner, which would have been you, I no longer have that access. Okay, unless I were to try and get the voter information from a community where you moved to. And just so you know, that voter information doesn't follow you to the next community. It's address specific, correct, Andy?
Yeah, if you look at mine, there's 2020. It says I didn't vote in the 2020 election because I voted down in Normal.
Right.
Even though I was a registered voter.
So it's address specific.
Right. Okay.
So, it doesn't follow you, which I wish it kind of did, but it doesn't. But with that being said, a couple of things that I wanted to talk about tonight. One is the first thing I'm excited about. So, obviously, between different administrations, we came in April, and we now have a website, okay? It is www.htro.org, okay? A programmer friend of mine did it for us, built it for us, out, check it out. Go htro.org. We secured that address. Our old address for the Homer Township Republican Organization, if we wanted to get that URL back, they were going to charge us almost $1,000. Going this route, our cost expenditure on this, because we have a private programmer doing it, he is going to do it for the next 2 years while I'm sitting in his chair. And it's going to cost us a whopping $30 a year, maybe. I think that's what it is. So I think that's something we can absorb. And when you go to it, I want everyone to check it out. Make sure you see it on your phones. Please, between now and the next meeting or whenever you get a chance, go through it. If you see something, hey, we should add this, or hey, we should change this, email me directly, okay, because we're all in this together, all right? We're building this organization pretty much fresh, okay? We got a fresh website, we got a fresh look, and we've got a candidate page. You guys, if you're not, we have a committeeman page. If you sent me your headshot is on that page. It also is linked with your email that you provided, the Will County Clerk's Office, your email that your voter base can get to you, okay? If you have not sent me your headshot, send me your headshot. Otherwise, it's just going to be a blank space where your face should be, okay? With that being said, get back to me on that. Let me know what you guys think. I think the only other thing that I wanted to talk about is, in the years, people have done days of action, and it's where we get together and we walk our precincts. The biggest problem, in my experience, was that when one person wants to walk their precinct on a day of action, it can take them 8 hours, 10 hours, it's a whole day, usually on a Saturday or Sunday. What I would like to think, or what I'm thinking of, what I would like to do, is plan quite a few days of action. But I only want to do 2-hour intervals. And what I'm thinking is we have 19 precinct committeemen. I think the best way to do it is, if you are a precinct committeeman, I'm going to put a calendar out there before the next meeting. Okay? I'm going to mark out the days for walking. Okay? I want to do 2 precincts a Saturday. Starting in September, leading us up into November. Okay? We got 19 precincts, we got 19 people. If we did 2 precincts on a Saturday and the group came in, we could hit, let's say, precinct 1 with 19 people, and let's say we did precinct 1 and 2. We could hit those 2 precincts, and every Republican voter knocking on every door probably in a couple hours and be done, 2 hours, opposed to one person trying to do their precinct on their own. The reason why I'm saying that, in the long term, you're probably still spending the same amount of time, but weekends, we've got families, we've got obligations. Now, you know what I mean? I would rather give 2 hours a few different Saturdays, opposed to burning myself out on one Saturday for 10 hours. You know what I mean? It keeps us active, it keeps some camaraderie going. So I want to know your thoughts on it. Again, we can talk about it again, or you guys can come back to me on emails. But when we have this executive session, which will be before we have a day of action, we can discuss how we're going to go about it. We got to knock doors. It's the best way for us to continue to keep a strong Republican vote here in Homer Township. But we've got to make it easy on us as well. Okay, we all have families, we all have lives. Okay? So, with that being said, well, can we keep it rolling, Kevin? Okay, that's all I have for my committee meeting report. We're going to go into the co-chair. Brad Ritzy's not here today, so there will be no co-chair report. And Mark is going to talk. You want to talk a little bit more about the precinct data?
I could.
Using the instructions.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said most of what I want to say. I went there. Jay's instructions were pretty good. It is www.willcountyclerk.gov, and it's a little clunky to get to the places you want, so be patient. But it's there, and you get there, and then you fill out a form, name, address, your precinct, this, Are you real? You know, they do one of those checks, then done. And it was accepted. Literally 10 minutes later, I got an email saying it was accepted, and somebody's going to be contacting me to collect my $2, which they did, and got that done. And about 3 hours ago, I got the full spreadsheet. It's a CVS spreadsheet, so it's readable by Excel. So I already brought it in. I looked at all the columns. Like Jay said, there's a ton of data there going back many, many elections. So it's one registered voter, and it goes across like gazillion roles. So you have to have a little bit of Excel skills to try and sort and look and this, but you can get there. Now, I'll say I'm not an Excel expert by any means, but been around it for my whole career and in retirement. So if you have problems either getting, you know, through the website, feel free to call. And or if you have problems when you get the results to look at them, I'll volunteer my time to help. Now, I'm not the expert. I know there's a couple of young bucks in this room, like this guy here and Ethan, probably could spin me around on Excel. But, you know, we could all work together and get to the result we want, which is who are the voters that we should knock on doors. I will say, a little bit disappointed that the email column and the phone column a little sparse. What I would prefer to use modern technology to try to reach out to these people instead of knocking, but looks like we're going to have to knock. But you want Republican voters strong. I think you want independents. I think this is going to sway this whole thing. And if you have trouble sorting the spreadsheet, I'd be more than happy to help.
All right, with that, I want to have discussion on pulling the voter data. And I know some people have some, I know Mike has some questions regarding other things that I talked about, and we'll do that during open discussion. But bullet point 9 is discussion for individual precinct voter data. Does anybody, have you guys tried it? Any problems, any questions with it, just working it? Does anybody have any discussion regarding it?
I had a quick question. Have you guys, or do you guys use the GOP data center tool? Or
Right. Well, we haven't gotten there yet
Okay.
right now because we do have some new PCs and we have some PCs that are seasoned as well. I'm trying to get them down to just the basics. We're trying to get them down just to
The
the
basics?
basics because the idea is that and Hillary weren't here before, but when I came into the organization, people kind of spoon-fed me, you know what I mean? To make good, strong, lasting PCs, I want them to learn how to use the county clerk system, plus other things I think that you're going to probably talk about because you're our guest speaker today.
I was just thinking,
Yeah.
sometimes it's easy.
Yeah, I mean,
Aggressive when you're looking at the spreadsheet.
Yeah,
and
this
you have
is, I have it right here. I don't know how to read this. I mean, as
Okay.
far as like, I don't know.
but you were able to get it.
No, I have it,
I
yeah.
did not. I have some tricks I was there when we meet next month.
What?
I have some tricks I was there later.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to have an executive session meeting, which it won't be open to the public, it'll be just for PCs. And we're going to learn how to read that because we need to know how to sift through the ashes of one of these things, so to say. Get the addresses because as a precinct committeeman, let's just say we were to organize a day of walk in your precinct. It's going to be up to you to go, okay, here's my spreadsheet. These are the names, these are the doors I want to knock on today. You would highlight those that we pass because you're probably going to have like 12 sheets there. You give like...
Yeah, I mean, there's like 2,000 people here.
Oh, right, but that's 2,000 voters. So when you go door to door, you got to kind of, you want to hit the Republicans. Here's the thing, and something I want to say, and Hillary knows this. Everyone says Illinois is a blue state, okay? I'm telling you, we already know, we already got the data. We've got the Republican voters to win the race. We've got the Republican voters to win a presidential race on behalf of a Republican candidate. Our Republican voters aren't voting. And what has always made Homer Township strong is that we have a 70% Republican voter base. It shrunk a little bit. I think we're about 67%. 67%. The thing is that we've got the voters, we gotta make sure they get out and vote. And I have a couple of different ideas, but when it comes to knocking on the doors and becoming personable, so they know Tiffany, they know Mike, they know who Steve is, it's knocking on those Republican voters because you're putting a name with the face. You know, you may be able to convert other voters, which is always a welcome effort. I get that. But right now, at bare minimum, we've got to get our Republican voters out to vote. And that's kind of what we'll go through when we organize these, you know, days of action, we call them. And I think Hillary's going to speak about it too. She said, you know, she's been involved for quite some time now. So with you know, I'm going to call our guest speaker, Hillary Kazawa. She is the Will County Republican Chair.
So we don't have too much to talk about today, except for our biggest fundraiser is coming up right around the corner. That will be held on September 25th, 2026, and that's the Freedom Day dinner. This year we're doing something a little bit different. In the past, we've had a lot of speakers, candidates. We might have one big speaker, one of our candidates for the year, but we're going to have a comedian. We have our Abraham Lincoln impersonator, and then we're also going to have our raffles and some music, and it's just going to be a fun time for everybody to get together. You know, we spend so much time, I think, politicking up and down the street, and sometimes it's just fun to get together and speak to each other, and have a good time. So with that said, we have two specials going on before September 1st. Our tickets are $100. So that's the early bird special. And then on this one, if you're a candidate who is running in an election coming up, we are offering, with your purchase of a $100 ticket, you will also get a half-page ad that goes into our sponsorship. And another thing to talk about that is if you have anyone in the area who is a diehard Republican and they are a business owner, we would love to feature them in our book. So we do have some sponsorships available for them to get into that ad book as well. We are also doing our gun raffle, which is a Kimber, it's a engraved Kimber 1911, really pretty, and the tickets are 20 a piece. And now if anybody hasn't received their tickets in the mail, or you would like to sell tickets, please let me know and I'd love to get you some. We did send them out to all of our precinct committeemen. We're just asking that you sell 10. There was an envelope inside just to send them back. That helps to fund our campaigns going forward. We have a lot of momentum this year, and we really want to make sure that we can get it across the finish line. So that's kind of our fun. The other thing is about that data. So the Illinois GOP gives us 2 data centers to work off of. One of them is Numenar. It is a app-based, GPS-based, where you go from door to door, you click it off. They have surveys in there. It's really good. I started on GOP Data Center. That is where you go in, you put your filters in, you find your hard Republicans, soft Republicans, independents. You can filter them into a list for your precinct. Each precinct committeeman does have access to that data through the state. You just have to let me know. Or if you have one of our PC binders, in the back of there is how to sign up for those data centers.
The PC binders are the binders that every PC that attended
the convention, or if you've been to one of our meetings, I pass them out. If you have not gotten one, please see me afterwards and I can get it to you. There's a lot of things, like good stuff about door knocking, how to find your data, there it is, and just practices for being a good PC. There's phone lists in there, like a phone sample list, so that if you want to make calls instead, you can do that. There's a script. We're not going to let you go out there and be by yourself. We want to give you everything you need to be able to knock doors, talk to people, call, send flyers, all that good stuff. The one thing I will say about Data Center is they have overhauled it in the last couple of years. They want that to be as competitive, and their Numenar to be as competitive as with the Democrat data. They've had excellent data for years. We're now catching up. And the more that we use this data, the more we collect, the better we get. So, with that being said, they do update those in the GOP Data Center at Numenar, and I do believe that the county, there's going to be one more big update in August. I think it's more closely towards the end of August, where they're going to be purging some voters off of there that have moved out of state, and really help to get that where it needs to be. I did speak with our clerk. They have done great things with making sure we don't have questions, all of that. If you did move out, they've cleared those voter rolls. So with that, I think that might have been it. But on the data center and Numenar, they do have emails and phone numbers. So if things are missing there, those two can help supplement it. And I am more than happy to help anybody, walk them through cutting those lists. Maybe we could do something together. I believe that education is the best way to do it. If you know how to do it, you don't have to wait for somebody to cut your list or try to figure out where to get it. When I first got involved, I had no clue how to do it. I just got my GOP Data Center, sat down and started looking at it. But when you're working with it, you're doing it, you know, it makes it more important to you.
Do you want to answer some questions?
Yeah.
Does everybody have questions?
Mine's on the freedom data, so I'll be brief. So it's for a candidate or campaign, it's $100 for the ticket and the half-page ad. There's no set
It's a bonus. Get that
bonus
before September 1st.
before September 1st.
Yes.
Okay. And if it's after September 1st, what's the price for the ad?
The ad, our pricing is going to have it on TKO. So it's $175 per ad. So the ad itself is $175. So.
And then plus the ticket if you don't. Oh, good enough.
Good question.
So you're doing an action day. You get 10 to 20 people that show up. How are you getting them on Numenar?
So in the back of the book, if you are a PC, I usually bring my computer with me so that I can add people to the list as we're doing our days of action. I just need an email and I can invite you to it. Any PC, you can go through and request that or say, hey, I want data center, or not data, Numenar. Just have to shoot me an email. That is, I'll give you my email address. It's contact@willcountygop.org.
And
So if you,
is that only for elected PCs, or can people that are on candidates get that information?
so candidates can get that information. If they go through the state, they can get their own Numenar account. You just have to contact them. But if you want to work with us, we can invite you to it and do those days of action. We have had multiple days of action. I partnered with Jack Lamort, who is a VC over in New Lenox, and he has helped me get those lists, and we'll work together, adding people and making sure that we're all working in quadrants.
So I'm planning on doing specific targeting for mine.
Mm-hmm.
Now they gave me the Excel sheet, and I can read it, and I know exactly what it means. How do I put this down? I want this side of the precinct for this day with these houses that I've chosen. How do I get them on paper? Because I got old guys that want paper.
You're working with the county data, or?
I got both. I got Numenar and GOP data.
So if you have GOP Data Center, that's where you can cut your physical paper lists. Yes.
You can cut a wallpaper for Numenar, but it has to be on the computer.
Yeah, compared to the app.
You can export a list from Numenar after you have already cut a turf on to Numenar. It's not going to be pretty. Like, there are certain data software where it'll literally give you everything by the street you're on. It'll be formatted properly. Numenar won't do that for you. It'll just spit out an Excel. You'll be able to draw a circle and say, I want to hit these specific doors in this specific area, but it's just going to spit an Excel sheet back out for you, and you're going to have to adjust it accordingly.
And now with GOP Data Center, you can filter that out and go by street and odds and evens.
But you're not going to be able to cut a specific polygon the same way you can on Numenar.
You would get the whole precinct.
So I'm going to get more out of the Numenar with that.
Probably. I would, for paper sheets, yes. My recommendation is always, I hate paper sheets, just from somebody who's run campaigns before, just because it doesn't track the data. You have to go in manually afterwards and put down, I knocked on this door, they answered, they said yes, they want to vote for me, yes, they want a yard sign. You have to do all of that on the back end with paper walkbooks.
And it's not like NGP van where you can just type in the list number and go down the list. Numenar doesn't give you that availability. So this is perfectly up to you, but I always recommend if you have Numenar and you're comfortable using Numenar, just use Numenar because your data is going right into the system and it's being tracked automatically rather than having to go in on the back end and put everything in.
You still have interaction with Numenar, so when, let's say you pull up a doorway, so like if I were to open, have you opened up Numenar on your phone?
Yeah, I use it.
So, right, so you get all those little borders of the households, and you click on it, you're like, oh, wait, no, that Democrat may not want to go to that household, or hey, wait, there's a Republican, they're going to get that house. And it does ask you, A, were they home, who was home, because there was 4 voters in the house.
Yeah.
It does ask you, so a lot of that, like that program or Numenar really counts on the person that knocked in that house to feed in that information, because then it stores that
Well, that's
information.
what I can make my own surveys too.
Yeah.
So I can create my own and do what I want to do on it,
And
which I like. But I got old guys that want to walk.
So
I
that's-
got old PCs that
They
want
want that paper.
and they want paper.
The easiest thing to do with paper is to print it out and highlight or circle what I have to know in it.
Yeah.
It sucks, but that's the only way.
That's the thing that I run into. I'm versed on both, but I know that a lot of people, if they're used to one, they don't necessarily, they're afraid to
If you, but here's
I
the
say
thing.
whichever way that you can get the data and knock the doors is the best thing.
If
So,
you've never used
anybody-
paper, from my experience, if you've never used paper, then you look at Numenar and you're like, wait a second, what am I trying to accomplish here? But when you've gone that rough route of using the paper, like the paper list I'm telling everyone to pull, because what's great about the Excel spreadsheet that you'll get from the county, maybe you don't want to use that for that, but it's great if you want to send out a mailer. Because you can take that, you can turn it into a Word document, and it'll automatically print up all your envelopes from those addresses. So those are great for mailers. But when we started out, and I think Chris, you were around when I first started out, we would show up and everyone would have like 2 or 3 sheets of a precinct with the doors that were highlighted to Republican voters. Those are the doors we want to knock down. That's old school. But
That's all I had at the time.
but in all reality, sometimes for you to understand it and to realize it, you have to see
I'm
what
a
it is.
hands-on person, so
Yeah.
I do like the paper sheets, but I will go back and then fill them in. I'm a Word also
Yeah.
very I'm watching and I'll fill in my walk list. I know some people complain about the battery of your phone draining while you're out there. It's always good to have a backup paper list, because if you're out there and you've been doing it for an hour and you're supposed to go for another 2 and your phone dies and you don't have a charger. So I always just try to make sure that whatever the instance is, you're covered.
So like even if we did a day of action like the way I was proposing it, and let's say I've got 10 PCs going to one precinct, okay? They can have that piece of paper, okay, because they're gonna have maybe 30 names on it, okay, then they're done for the day. When they get to that address, those blocks where they're gonna be at, they can open up their Numenar app. Numenar shows them exactly where they're at. You see what I'm saying? But the paper gets you there. It starts you off and gets you there.
I don't use those if I'm doing calls, things like
Right.
that, because I feel
Yeah, you
like
can't.
there are ways to filter out on GOP data center to make sure that those numbers are good. So I've learned a lot on those types of things. I want to bring it to everybody. So we will be doing a training on an education, or an education day to go a little more deep dive into it. But
All right, any
it's
other?
something we can bring to you at a meeting too. We want to
Well,
make it mobile, so
Well,
we
yeah,
can bring it
get
to
the
everybody.
executive session.
That would be great. Thank you.
Any other questions for Hillary?
I'm a paper guy.
Yeah.
That's okay. I don't
So you're gonna be like, hey, Hillary, can you come on this for me?
But anyway, I have a different question. The different townships. I know in Frankfurt, they asked the township for a referendum for voter ID.
Yes, we did.
And do you know if any of the other townships that at the time when Chrissy was pushing it, I had 9 townships that I talked to. And Lockport was, even though the guy's a Democrat, he said that he put it to his board. And then, everything changed. And so now I don't know who's did it, and do you have any idea of who did that?
So I do believe that Green Gardens put it on their agenda and it's voted on. I know that I'm the Frankfurt Township trustee and we voted on it as well, that's going to be a referendum question on our on our ballot. I do know that Reed brought it up and they were discussing it, but they're a little tentative. Possibly Washington might have passed it. I know there's a few other ones, but those that had kind of half Democrat, half Republican boards, they haven't pushed them away. So.
It's going to make a big difference. New Lennox, I don't know if they did it.
I haven't heard about New Lennox.
So that's why I'm asking, because that'll make a big difference in voter turnout for those areas.
It does.
You know, so I'm looking at it, especially because my county board district has got Mokina. So frankly,
all of Mokina got to be on their ballot.
So the voter turnout there should be quite high, and Homer did not do it.
They didn't do it.
No, they didn't do it.
I thought they had talked about it and they didn't bring it forward. So
I asked them, but yeah, whatever.
But over by me, that's about all that I've heard of it. So hopefully more people did and we got it on there, but it was really kind of quiet. Not a lot of people talked about it. Just if it happened, it happened. So anything else?
One more. What's the buzz at the committee, the Will County Central Committee, about the chances for our candidates, you know, from governor to senator on that? What's the buzz?
I think we're all very optimistic. I know that myself looking over the data in some of our strongholds for Republican voters, we have the momentum to change the tide. We do. If we just bring out a few more people here and there, it's like 500 more votes from Homer, 5 from Frankfurt, 5 from Mokina, 500 on Sherwood if we could bring it up. It sounds like a lot kind of thinking in one precinct you need 500 more voters. But if when I'm looking at the data, I'm seeing a lot of people that are coming up as independents, but they have voted a Republican in the past, and maybe they're a 1 and 2 voter, they're apathetic. Those are the people we need to go after because they could definitely be Republicans. They just need somebody to knock on their door. I had somebody who said they were a soft Democrat. They'd only polled a Republican, and they just kind of used consumer data to see where you're at. I knocked on the door, he goes, I'll never vote for a Democrat. All your Republican candidates have my vote. He took our card, because we do have that countywide walk card. If anybody needs any more, let me know. But the votes are out there, and the independents and even some Democrats are very upset right now. Their property taxes are going up too. That is not a Republican or a Democrat thing, that's a person thing. And that's what we need to be focusing on, is that we need our fiscal conservatives in office to help push down that. When you look at the county board, what Steve and the county board did, pushing for that 0% levy, now going for 2%. They're working. They're doing the work. The negative 2. So they're out there doing the work. They're trying to cut things from their budget. They're for the people. And when you see all of these pet projects that are coming out on the county board from the Democrats, or see them popping up from your state and local senators, it's disgusting because they're wasting millions of dollars, and we can pull it back. And with good our county board, I think we have a great opportunity to pick up. We have Katie Dean in Troy Township. Her partner that she's running with is Debbie Militello. I think we can bring those over and get an extra one there and hold what we have, because it can't get any worse. We have to do something, and that's what I'm hearing at the door. I'm hearing a lot of positivity. So they're not mean. I haven't got a door slam in my face once this year, so which is surprising. So.
All right, thank you, Hillary.
Thank you.
Hillary from Moore County. Okay, so this is where we get into countywide candidates. We'll have an opportunity to speak and get 5 minutes. Just so everybody knows, our new website, all of our meetings will be on there. So you may not have a big crowd in the room, but people will be able to see this video. So where are our candidates today? Okay, we got Steve Ballard. Come on up.
Well, the county is very, very interesting right now. Judy O'Gall is heading up an effort to get a referendum on the ballot from the county, and not the people, to make it so that all the districts reduce their taxes. All. So So I don't know what's going to happen. It was supposed to go on an agenda and it didn't. So then today, Judy had a bit about it. And so we're still fighting for it. The idea is to get stuff on a referendum that will not only bring out voters. See, in my mind right now, the Democratic voters, we want them to come out too. You know why? Most of them don't like socialism. So when they come out, do you think they're going to vote for a socialist? I don't think so. So we got to take advantage of this. So then we got to go out and we got to hit some of them too. The soft Democrats, they're like independents almost because they're like guys that lived in Chicago and they're construction workers and stuff like that. Those guys, they vote Democrat because they had to do it because of their job. They've always voted Democrat and they are Democrat. But when you start talking about socialism and then girls in schools playing boys basketball, I guess you want to say, or reverse, you know, people don't like that. And the more that this stuff happens, the more angry the Democrats that are calling themselves Democrats get. So they believe that the party left them. They're not leaving the party. So we have to make sure we go after all that. So now at the county, besides Judy, I demanded a referendum on data centers because they're talking about putting one in Lennox. And so then I did a lot of research on it. I found out there's data centers that you don't need water for. And you need a micronuclear plant, and there's a way of doing that too. So it's not dangerous. So I'm pushing that. It's not getting anywhere real fast, but we're pushing it. The big thing that's going on at the county is that you heard Carmen Morales speak about equity theft. That's probably a big issue now, right? Because anybody in this room could lose their house. You have someone steal your bank account, and someone steal the title to your house. You lose your job. You get sick. There's a lot of reasons why people lose their house. Even though you think you're fine, maybe you're not. So the county was taking your house, and you didn't get any equity, which is illegal. It's against Tyler Supreme Court rule from 2023. And if Carmen was here, he'd be able to explain that better. But at the county, I have to go after it and really go into it because the county decided that they're going to, because we're going to get sued now because we haven't done it since 2023. And our county has put money into a fund that we didn't even know about. We just found out that we've been putting some money away and that they've been trying to make it so this is all going to work out. But now we're putting a policy together, and part of the policy is that they want to use auctions as the market value of the house. And then they tell us this. Now, I researched it, so I found out that there's 3 ways to do it. There's market value, auction, that's appraised value of the market value, and auction, and then there's an equity line of credit. So there's 3 different ways. They take the worst one for the people that get the money. It's the easiest for the county to do, but it's the worst one of the 3 for people. So I got mad. I'm not on the executive committee, so I have to wait to the end to talk. So at the end, I went into about a 20-minute argument with them about it. Because the people in the room, they only know what they're hearing unless you research it. So I explained to them that with the market value, you don't go to auction. They lose their house after the redemption period, which is about 30 months. You put it for sale. And you have an appraiser, a certified appraiser, start the price. And then when it sells, the people get a clean title from the actual owner. I got this all figured out, right? And they're going nuts because they don't want to do it because it's extra work. So now I'm working with Judy and Jim Richmond and the rest of my caucus. And we're going to try to push it where they have to. We can still do the process, but we're going to use, the county will be in charge, but if I get my way, we're going to be doing it the moral way market value. And then you'll be hearing a lot about it because the county is split, you know. The staff doesn't want to do it. Because it's real easy to just say, all right, here, go to auction. And then they get all these guys that go to these auctions and they buy it for half of what it's worth. And that means that the people that are supposed to get directly, they don't get it all. So to me, that's a constitutional violation of Tyler versus Tennessee. That's the name of the case. But anyway, those are the things that's going on at the county. And in my election, it's like all elections for me. I have a lot of haters. And they do nothing but bad-mouth me on social media. And that's how I know, because I'm getting more bad-mouthy lately. I'm getting it stepped up. I'm getting emails now. So you know what that means? That means I'm doing good. When you start to feel good because you know you're pissing off your enemy. So I just keep on doing what I'm doing. So I'm going to continue the way I'm going, and I think I'm going to be fine. I'm going to win real big. And that's what matters. But always remember that when they're attacking you because they want to win. They don't want you, so they're trying to make you look bad. And the stuff that they say is 99% lies. They're not even trying to cover it up with a half lie. But anyway, God bless you guys.
Hi everyone, I'm Brian Scala. I'm running for Senate for the 14th District. I got a small section of Homer Glen, and when I saw you guys were doing this tonight, I thought I'd come out and at least introduce myself. That's been the problem for most of our district, is that nobody knows who the senator is because he's kind of non-existent. I'm also a trustee in Crestwood, and a lot of the questions I've been asking are, well, why don't you just run for mayor of Crestwood? I have no intentions in that because the mayor's doing a great job. So I'm not going to step in and meddle with that. I'm stepping in the meddle with the Senate because we have somebody in there that's not doing a good job. He hasn't done a good job in 18 years. In 18 years, his track record, he's done 11 bills. Out of the 11 bills, 5 of them are street dedications. So imagine you go into your job and you had one project a year and you didn't even do that. How long would they keep you employed? Here's a better one. His last 2 years, 33% of the time, he did not go to work. Let me put this in perspective. The average Illinois individual misses 2% of work. You as a person miss 2%. He missed 33%. Would your boss keep you? If you were the boss, would you keep you? And that's why I'm here. I'm running because our whole district is so sick and fed up. I have my whole eastern towns, Robbins, Dixmoor, Harvey, they're loving me out there. I'm getting such warm reception, I can't believe it. They want to change. They've been lied to the entire time. We've all been lied to. You know, they like to hold our money back. Every one of the towns in Illinois. I'm with the IML as well. So I'm with the Illinois Municipality League. And we meet a couple times a year, and we have a big outing coming up next month downtown, where all the towns get together, all 1,200 towns. And we talk about the things that are wrong. I've been down in Springfield to fight the Build Act. You know, there's a lot of things that are going on. It isn't just focusing on the taxes, and we know that's a problem. There's so many more things that they're trying to slide by left and right. And to be honest, I just like to fight. I really just want to get in there and mix it up with them and let them know that somebody's there that's willing to push back and do whatever it's going to take to make that happen. So between that and the group, I'm also a union plumber. So that's what I do for a living, and I do it every day. And I just recently got endorsed by the Illinois Education Association. They're the biggest union in the state. And a big thing that I want to be a part of is to try to correct this education system that's been twisted and taken away from. Just the money alone, they operate at a $300,000 deficit, or a $300 million deficit every year. How do you do that? And then we wonder why we have the worst education system, well, one of the worst in the country. Everybody talks about it, but nobody wants to do anything about it. Well, I want to bring it to light. I have about 217,000 constituents in my district. I want to let them all know what's going on monthly. This is what you guys are doing. These are what the guys next door are doing. Hey, what's your opinion on this? Nobody's asking. because they don't want you to have a voice in Springfield. My motto on my thing is, put me there, I will be your voice in Springfield, because we don't have it. So that's about it. That's what I'm about. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. The other thing is, too, is we were talking about getting more people out to vote. And the other thing I hear, and you've all heard it, oh, my vote don't count. And I thought about it, and I think I understand what it is. It's not that your vote don't count, but you're frustrated because you didn't have boxes to check. So your vote didn't count because you didn't come out and vote. Because for 42 years, you didn't have anybody else to vote for Senate for 14th District. Because it was his father who gave him his job. And then he's done nothing in his job. So I think that's what the problem is. You now have great candidates across the board. If we can't win this time, we need 9. We need 9 to get to a super minority. That sounds sad. But what if we got 15 this time? We got great candidates. If you do not push your friends and your relatives and that neighbor that says, I don't know if I want to go. My challenge to everybody's been this since I started. Bring 3 people with you when you go to vote. 3 people that don't normally vote. The guy next door, maybe your cousin, maybe one of your kids. Drag them there with you. 3 more people. Think about what the primaries were. If you had 300,000 more people that came, we could have swept anything you want when we're done with this election. So we got the votes. People are there. Drag 3 people with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's your opponent and what part of Homer is your district?
So I have the eastern part. Where am I? The border.
You got 159th Street to 151st Street, Bullcliff Road, South.
Okay.
So it's a smaller area. I think it was about 947 individuals that are in it. My opponent's Emo Jones. Look him up online. He's got a great video out right now. It's great. So if you want some laughs, go run at that. And these are the people representing us, and everybody thinks it's okay. I don't think it's okay. So give it a run. Yes.
Now, this is a question to help you. Have you researched the revenue side of like sales tax, what they actually budget for? And because at the I'm not going to go through all, but I found all the ways they've been hiding stuff and making cash on cash. So if you levy, you got to find out if they're doing this. If they levy for sales tax $100,000, and then the actual amount they get is $200,000, where did that other $100,000 go? That might help you, because that's what's happening in the county. And it's happening with all our revenues like that. And so that's one of the things I'm bringing out. But I'm sure the state gets sales tax, and then if they levy for one number, and then you triple or double, where's it go? Why is that no levy? Why isn't it closer to the end? Because they want that extra windfall. And so I'm just giving you a shot at a way you could.
So here's a great shot, and you guys can all use this too. And this comes down from the state level. So when we as a community, we will ask for a grant. So for instance, in Crestwood, we wanted new street lights. We went out, we did our due diligence, we got the right price, everybody was good, the state agreed. 12 years later, they decide to release the money that was earmarked. Now, you all know in our Constitution that earmarked money is not allowed to be used anywhere else. Why did they hold that money for 12 years? Any bankers? Any financiers? Anybody ready? Because there's no verbiage on what to do with the interest. So now you got 1,294 towns. They all get grant money, and everybody's held back. And they held it back indefinitely. And they trickle a little here, trickle a little there. We had projects that they've been running for years, and they're still not paid out yet. And that's what they're doing. So when you ask, where's that money going? You're not going to get an answer. You're just not going to get an answer.
That's something you can bring up, because I'm going to expose all at the county. All of it. And they're going to be like,
oh yeah, county's going to love you.
But the state's got the same thing, I would assume. I don't know for sure.
No, I can look at it. I can look more into that. Absolutely.
That's something.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any more candidates? We have. Dolly, Yeah, did you? No? Oh,
He was just scratching his-
Okay. Okay, we're gonna go into open comment from elected PCs. Mike, I know you had something.
Yeah, I just had one comment about when we walk in the precincts, and because of how many people don't answer the door. I suggest when you go to Avery, they have these little postcards, like whatever, 6 on a sheet or whatever. And I would suggest printing out, something about yourself and your candidates and our website. We're going to push our website on those handout cards from the county, those big ones.
Right.
Put little stickers on it with our website, so everyone will have access to our website.
So maybe I was here.
Yeah, something. You could print out. Do a thing even with ChatGPT, will do a whole thing for you. And just plot, cut and paste on it, those 6 pages on a sheet for the postcards, tear them up, hand them out. Makes it simple.
Any other open comments from elected PCs? No. Okay, open comment from attendees. Okay.
Okay, I just wanted to say that the committee did buy a substantial laser printer, so if you guys do have any flyers, anything that needs to be printed, we're helping to support that way too.
Okay.
So just bring the paper, we'll do the printing. I was flabbergasted at how expensive printing has gotten, how expensive ink has gotten. I would say I've already saved enough money with everything that I print. I've only had it for a month and a half, so.
Okay.
I'm gonna see how much if I can start doing a little heavier cardstock. I'm gonna play around with it a little bit, but that's just something. And I have another thing in the works to help support with merchandise for your townships.
Any other open comments? If
You're
not,
doing a good job.
oh, thank you. Okay, can someone I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It was Andy. It's so moved over here. Seconded by Steve Spontek. All in favor?
Bye.
Hey, Andy, could you do me a favor before we leave?